Episode 131. I Want to Kill Him. Her panting and yelp that he had just heard through the call sounded the same as her reaction when he was inside her. Infuriated with jealousy, Jake pushed the screen down the desk, making a huge noise.
Serena!
Serena went to Henry Miller's home and pushed the doorbell so hard that she almost broke it. However, no one came to answer the door. Later, she searched everywhere he possibly could be without any luck. Eventually, she returned to his home, and this time, the door was opened after she tried the doorbell 2 more times. As soon as the door was open, Serena smelled intense alcohol. She had no idea that Henry would drink like this with that terrible wound. Seeing her, Henry chuckled.
Sunshine, it's you! How come you're here?
Henry burped. Serena turned her body sideways, but the next second, he collapsed on her. Serena quickly supported him from falling and found out that his body was burning up. Shocked, Serena gasped.
Are you trying to kill yourself?
Come on, I'll get you to the hospital. Henry did not want to do that. Leaning against her shoulder, he greedily took in a deep breath and said,
No, not the hospital. It's too depressing over there. I feel I would die there.
Serena heard him and bristled.
Do you really want to kill yourself?
You are badly injured and have a fever. You should rest instead of drink. Serena wished she could slap the alcohol out of him. However, she was not strong enough to take him to the hospital. Since Henry insisted on holding onto the doorknob, Serena had to help him inside. Closing the door, Serena searched the place all over but found no medicine. There was, however, a bottle of rubbing alcohol. Dipping a towel into the alcohol, she cleaned his face. His face was burning. Serena felt very worried and wanted to call an ambulance. However, the moment she took the phone, Henry caught her hand. Serena was startled and the phone fell on the floor.
Sunshine, why didn't you wait for me?
Henry was very drunk. Gazing at Serena in front of him, he blinked his groggy eyes as the wound hurt badly. However, that was no comparison to his heartache. With a smile, he said,
Why didn't you wait for me? Is that man so wonderful? Is Jake Robinson so great?
Serena took his hand away, but he easily overpowered her despite his intoxicated state. Her phone rang next to her feet. Looking down, she saw Darling blinking on the screen. She wanted to bend over and pick up her phone, but Henry would not let her. She had to use her foot to get the phone. When she was about to succeed, it had stopped ringing. Henry caught Serena's hands, not letting them go and raving in his delirium. His eyes were closed and his whole body was flushed. The phone rang again, and Serena quickly picked up. After talking to Jake, she immediately called an ambulance and told them the address. Her hands caught, she sat on the floor, waiting for the ambulance to come. However, before the ambulance, an unexpected visitor arrived. With his face stern, Jake looked very gloomy, like a warrior from a battle, making her shudder. Serena was surprised to see Jake there. However, before she had any time to explain herself, he pushed her away. Pushing himself through the door, Jake immediately saw Henry Miller lying on the couch with his skin flushed. Furious, he stepped up and grabbed him by the collar, punching him hard in the face. Caught off guard, Henry let out a scream and collapsed on the floor. His sight became blurry, and all he could see was a figure walking towards him. Serena panicked, yelled, "What are you doing?" Being drunk, Henry heard Serena's voice and chuckled.
Sunshine.
However, that intimate nickname made Jake angrier.
Son of a bitch!
He said, as he approached Henry and lifted him up, punching him again. Taking a hard punch, Henry's face immediately started to swell. His teeth almost fell out, and blood came out of his mouth. Sitting on the floor, Henry's wound was immediately torn up, and blood soaked through his clothes. Terrified, Serena's heart was almost in her throat. Wrapping her arms around his waist with all her strength, she shouted, "Stop! Stop it!" Jake clenched his fists without noticing that blood was coming out of Henry's body. Noticing Serena trying to stop him, Jake was even more infuriated, knowing that she was worried about the guy.
Let go of me!
He roared. "Don't hit him! Stop it!" Serena sobbed and exclaimed, "It's not what you're thinking! I just didn't want you to overthink this, so I—"
Let go!
Jake did not want to hear her explanation, tearing her hand away from him inexorably and pushing her away. Serena was thrown off her feet. When she came back again, Henry was screaming. Jake was very strong. Coming from a family with 3 generations in the military, he was held to high standards when it came to physical exercise. With his terrible injury, an IT guy like Henry was not a match for Jake Robinson at all. Serena panicked and quickly got up. Tripping over the sofa, she fell again and had no time to stand up. Rolling and crawling, she put herself between the 2 guys despite Jake's fist. Jake's fist was approaching her face. Her flesh creeping, she stared at his fist, not daring to move. He did not expect she would suddenly appear. He stopped his fist midair.
Get out of the way.
Serena's eyes full of tears, she shook her head, staring at his angry face. As her tears fell, she whimpered, "You will kill him." Jake heard her and suddenly felt amused, his heart sinking. A coldness suddenly emanated from his body, making Serena feel terrified. He was so scary like this. Reaching out a hand, Jake squeezed her chin and said gloomily,
I do want to kill him. This way, you will not think about him all the time. Will you?